Hey everyone, the skill ceiling in laning phase is infinite. Best players in the world are always practicing laning for all the different matchups and getting that much better at it since it's the most important part of the game. If you want to be a good mid laner, you should put your time into improving your laning phase as the concepts take a lot of practice to master. That being said, today I'm going to break down a laning phase where I'm playing Zed versus a former LCS mid laner Celigo on Yone. I've played versus everyone in NA, and he's one of the best laners in my opinion. So I knew it would be a fun and difficult lane considering Yone has the advantage in this matchup. The concepts I'm going to break down will be applicable to any champion though, not just Zed or Yone. By the end of the video, you'll have a great idea of how much goes into high level laning, and you'll have some concepts to take away and stomp your own laning phases. And for everything else you need to learn, there's skillcap.com. It's completely risk free to try us out as you're kept safe with Rank Up Insurance. If you don't significantly improve while actively using Skillcap, then you get your money back, no questions asked. You can learn more at the end of this guide or check us out with the link in the description. Alright, now let's get into today's guide. First, let me break down why this is a Yone favorite matchup, since I know a lot of you have been gaslit into thinking it's not by Yone players. It's simple fundamentals actually. First, when it comes to what kinds of trades both champions want, Zed wants short, burst trades, while Yone wants extended trades obviously. And that's because Zed isn't the traditional AD champion where he can just all in. He's weak in that scenario. He needs his W to do meaningful damage. Yone on the other hand doesn't run out of damage since his Q cooldown is so low. If Zed tries to all in Yone before level 6 and doesn't kill him after using his combo, Yone will 100% kill Zed easily. Now, this means Zed should mainly play this matchup from range with his Q and W, right? So let's say Zed lands his WEQ combo with Electrocute on Yone and it does 50% of his health. That's being generous of course, it doesn't do that much early, especially without a really significant lead, but for the sake of this example, let's just say it does 50%. Since Zed is useless without the W, Yone can use his insane early game wave clear and use those 20 seconds ZW is down to just shove the wave and reset. This gives him what I call lane tempo advantage, which basically means he crashes the waves and resets before Zed does. If he can do that on a cannon wave and get back before Zed crashes the wave on Yone's tower, now Yone has an item advantage and Zed has to try to crash without dying. So even if Zed lands his abilities, Yone always has tempo advantage, so he should never die. And because Zed can never really walk up to the wave and has to play the lane from range, Yone always has prio in the lane so he can roam, ward, reset, invade, etc. While Zed can't really do that as much without Yone making big mistakes. Alright, so that's how the matchup goes, and you're going to see that exact thing here, but let's see how I win it. At the start of the lane, I have no CS to get yet, so I try right away to hit Yone with a Q. If CS were about to get low, I wouldn't use it because I would need to use a lot of my Qs to grab last hits, but I missed sadly. Right after that, I could just sit back out of Yone's Q range until my Q comes back up, like all the players in Grandmasters and below do, but your laning can never go to the next level if you're not playing the footsies game. Footsies is basically when you walk in and out of an opponent's ability range to try and bait their abilities out. I made an entire video on this if you want to check that out. But yeah, I walk at him and turn around constantly, and notice through all the baiting, he doesn't throw a Q. Now this is high level laning. It may seem like nothing, but let me explain to you how deep this goes. You can think of it like layers. If I'm playing low elo, the enemy laner will be on layer 1. If I walk into their range, 99% of the time they will throw the ability, but I'm already preemptively moving away, so it won't hit. Layer 2 would be when against players that know I'm trying to bait, so they don't throw it right away, but they can still get baited, especially if they feel overwhelmed with pressure. Then layer 3, the layer Celigo and I are on here, is when he knows I'm trying to bait, but he also knows he doesn't even need to use Q at all until I go for a last hit, because if he misses, that gives me the time to freely get minions uncontested, and even auto the wave and maybe push it. If I can't get minions uncontested, I will have to take the risk of auto attacking them, which can get me damaged by his Q, or I'll have to use my Q to get it, which means I can't use Q to hit him. So as the first CS gets low, I walk at it acting like I'm gonna get it, then turn around, and just barely get tagged by his Q. In my opinion, I was scammed here, but either way, you can see what we're both going for here. After that, his Q is down and mine is up, and I see he needs to walk towards that blue minion to get it. So I try to hit him with Q, but he knew, and did the same thing I tried to do to him, and I miss. Most players I go against get hit there, but like I said, Celigo is a really solid laner. Anyways, after that, he has his third Q ready, and I have no less hits to get. I could just walk away out of his range until it times out and be perfectly safe. But playing safe doesn't get you anywhere in this game. You need to win lane. You shouldn't be playing to not lose. So instead, I move to basically the max range of his tornado, because I want him to try and use it, but I want to be as far as possible so I have an easier time dodging it. I try to hit him with Q, predicting he would use it around that time, and I could walk out of range as my Q traveled, but he didn't throw it. Then, when it comes to dodging skill shots at a high level, you have to know your options and vary them. I also made a video on this going very in depth. But I use the option where I move one way, and the moment I see his character start the Q animation, I go the opposite way. You can't blame him for missing here, because at a high level, you have to get information from the enemy first and see if you can figure out their tendencies. In the first few minutes of the lane, I just struggle to hit him with anything, but I figure him out and start to land all of my skill shots. You'll see, but let's keep going. After he misses Q, I walk up and use Q for my own last hit since I can't walk up or he just all-ins me. Then I'm sitting way back here and I'm not playing the footsies game. But it's because he's about to hit level 2, so I can't be up there trying to bait. I could die if I'm too close and he just levels up, grabs his E, and goes in. I see 2 low health minions I want to get with Q though. But notice, anytime I walk forward, he walks at me. Then when he walks back, I walk forward. It's because I want to get into range to Q those 2 minions, but he's spacing correctly, making sure I can't do anything for free. I call this making sure the enemy feels your presence. This is the biggest difference between low elo and high elo. If you lane versus a high elo player, it can feel like you can't do anything, like you can't breathe. But against a low elo player, they don't pressure you at all. Even Grandmasters and Masters players don't lane correctly and you don't feel their presence. Sadly, I miss the Q and don't get either CS though. And actually, it's because he's pressuring me with his spacing so much, I couldn't position the way I wanted to for it. See? Just small things like that can make the enemy miss CS like I just did. Alright, after that, I have to sit back and let him clear the wave since he's level 2. This will put the wave on the tower and he has his 3rd Q ready. I need to get these 2 melee minions, but it's really hard without taking damage. And this is because I can't walk up and auto them before the wave aggroes my minions or tower. Or those range minions will all shoot me and do a ton of damage. So I throw Q at the first, and Yone uses Q so I can't get the second. I should have given up the second one knowing he would do that though. Then, while Yone drops minion aggro to the side, I take that time to quickly walk up and use E and an auto to grab 2 minions as I know I would be contested for them. This is a big part of playing bad matchups or any matchup where they have shorter cooldowns or can harass you whenever you go for last hit. For example, any melee vs range matchup. When you notice the enemy is too far to contest you, use that precious time to grab some CS. Anyways, for the next last hits, again, he won't let me do anything for free. He hits me with W when I walk up for the first one, then I miss space trying to bait his Q on the second one. With his 2 abilities down for a few seconds again, I use that time to grab last hits while I can, and still get hit with his Q last second. After this, Yone is level 3, and he has his 3rd Q ready, and moves back to behind his minions like this. It's because he wants me to walk up further so he can jump in with E and his 3rd Q. I just stay out of range, but I want him to do that. So just like before, I'm standing basically max range of his EQ. He doesn't take the bait though. Then he clears the 3rd wave and crashes in on the tower with his 3rd Q ready again. Now he's going to try and hit me with a trick I've taught you guys multiple times before. He's going to use his E dash down like this, which will make most players dodge by moving up exactly where he throws it. This, combined with the fact that I've been dodging up in previous interactions, made him choose this option. But I know this trick, and I know I need to switch up my options, so I dodge down instead. Then he hits me with W, and I'm level 3, so I can finally start playing the game. When he has no abilities like this, it's a perfect time for me to walk up and try to land a WEQ. If he has E, he can use his E to try to dodge my W and go in at the same time. So I want to wait for him to use E first like I just did. Think of it like a turn system. He uses E, I try to survive it, then it's my turn and I look for a WEQ combo. Then his E comes back up and it's his turn again. That's kind of how the lane goes in a nutshell. Sadly, I miss both Qs, but I get information here on how he likes to move. And after I throw them, I knew he would try and Q me as I walked up for the next last hit, so I autoed, then immediately swapped to dodge his Q. Alright, now since my W is down, I have to go back to baiting and using Q for last hits as I can't walk up. He crashes the wave and the wave gets reset back to the middle. This is where I do something a bit advanced in the matchup. Like I said before, I don't want to use my WQ combo when he has E and a Q up. But I knew even though his next Q would be the 3rd one, it wasn't up yet. So when he walked up for the CS, I used my WQ combo and landed for the electrocute proc. I knew he wouldn't use E here because he would be using E without his Q ready, so it would just be a waste. And if I can time it like this, he won't use the EQ at all, because he knows if he jumps in with my W out, I can just dodge his Q with my W and run away until his E is done. Also, look how little damage my WEQ and electrocute did. Basically nothing. Nowhere close to 50%. For this next last hit though, I walk up and use Q and he knows my W is down. So he jumps in with E and uses the movement speed to get close. This is where things get deep again at this level, more layers. Alright, so in lower elos, if I were him, I would just keep running at the player because most players would just juke themselves out. Meaning they will move back and forth trying to dodge, which lets you just get right on top of them in auto, and you won't miss your Q. I know not to do this though, so we go to the next layer. I know he's not going to throw his Q at max range, because if he misses, he won't be in range to do anything afterwards, since his Q makes him stop moving. So I wait for him to get a little bit closer than that. Then, since he's a good player, I know he's waiting for my first dodge, as I obviously wouldn't just run in a straight line. So I take a micro step to one side, and immediately click the other way. As expected, he was on this layer. If this exact situation happened again, I would assume he wouldn't fall for this, and I would have to choose a different option. After that, I make a big mistake. I autopiloted a little bit and threw a Q trying to hit him when he went for a last hit when I clearly wouldn't have time as I was too far away. This doesn't seem like a big mistake, but it is, and here's why. Since my Q is down, he knows I'm useless even with W up, and at this elo, a mistake like this doesn't go unpunished. Now, I have to decide if I want to take damage grabbing these last hits because he's showing me he's going to contest them, or use W and E for them, or just give them up. Sadly, I only have one potion left and I'm already half health, so I can't take damage. So I have to use my precious W for these two minions. I'm basically losing a turn here. See how he doesn't let me walk up and grab them? He stands there letting me know I have to choose. Just like before, while he's away from the wave, I take that time to quickly grab last hits safely. Then he has his third Q ready again and his E is up, so it's time to dodge. Again, I don't stand completely out of range. I stand at max range, meaning he has a chance to hit me here. But I want him to use it so I can potentially get some breathing room if I avoid his all in. The trick I use here is called the reverse no options bait. I taught what the no options bait is in the skill shot video, but essentially it's when you act like you're going to walk into a spot where you have no way of dodging something. So for example, if I walk towards this wall, then away from it. Because most players will see you walk towards the wall and think you have no options to dodge it, but you don't actually put yourself there. You walk towards it, act like you are, and then immediately click away. At a high level like this, I knew that he knew about this, so I do the reverse. I walk towards the wall, then back, then quickly back at the wall again, because he wouldn't think I would put myself in a no option spot like that. High level mind games, multiple layers deep again. Sadly, even though I keep avoiding his initial Q, I can't out-trade him with his W shield, and I had no energy to use E. Alright, I could go through every CS and wave like I have been in every interaction, but the video would be too long, so I'm going to skip ahead to here where things get good. Right now, he just hit level 6, and I'm a few minions away, and he does something a bit disrespectful, trying to hit me with his R thinking I wouldn't react to it or something, so I just W away. Now I'm going to try to hit 6 as he jumps in with Q so I could ult, but I couldn't kill the minion in time. This is important for the next part. Alright, about 45 seconds later, I clear a wave and I'm low, so I look to reset. But since he doesn't have ult, and I know he's one combo away from being in kill range, I decide to stay. I know his E is down, so I look to land a combo. Like I said, I learned his tendencies, which let me land this combo here, and since my Qs didn't go through minions, it did max damage. This was a crucial moment for me in the lane. I needed to land that. He's now in kill range, even though he has exhaust. The key though, is that I need to know my limits better than him. I know I have the perfect amount of damage to kill him if I land everything, even through his exhaust right now, but does he know that? Well, when the waves reset about 30 seconds later, he walks into lane and uses his E to try and contest my CS, and when he snaps back, his third Q is ready. I want to use that third Q as bait, so I walk up for the cannon, ready to auto it and ult him as soon as he uses his Q. Notice I walk around acting like I'm just gonna run away and not kill him, but last second, I use my WE triple Q combo with ignite and passive auto and get the kill. He had flash, but because he didn't think I could even kill him, he wasn't thinking about flashing at all. I knew my limits better than he did. Alright guys, so as you can see, high level laning is very intense and high skill, but it's also incredibly fun and is my favorite part of the game to play and to teach. And if you want to fast track your improvement at League, then there's nothing better than our service at skillcap.com. We take the highest priority skills you need to learn to climb ranks fast, such as wave control, and then break it down into a step-by-step course of bite-sized 1 to 2 minute videos that are easy to understand. So while you're waiting for your next game to start, you can learn freezing, fast pushing, slow pushing, bouncing waves, the list goes on, all in just a few minutes to maximize your improvement rate. These courses have been getting 5-star ratings from all of our users, raving at how helpful they are. That's not all though, as every week we release 10 brand new Smurf commentaries where a challenger player teaches you how to climb out of the exact rank you're stuck in. If you're looking for something more personal instead, then we got you covered with one-on-one coaching from our trained challenger experts. All of this seems too good to be true, but don't worry, we're backed by Rank Up Guarantee. If you don't significantly improve while actively using SkillCap, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright, that's a wrap on this one guys. We here at SkillCap want to thank you for watching and we'll catch you in the next one.